Hi there, welcome to the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. My name's Todd Rhoades. I'm one of the co-founders over at chemistrystaffing.com, and today we're talking about ministry and passion and calling as a way of life. But let's be honest, ministry, while it is a calling and a passion, and it's how we live our lives, it's what we immerse our lives in, let's be honest, it can also feel like a real job and a real struggle sometimes. Long hours, the demanding schedules, you're on the clock 24/7, on call, constant pressure to meet the needs of, sometimes it seems like everybody in your church. It can be overwhelming. But recently I came across an article that reminded me of the incredible privilege it is to serve in ministry. And it was written by a local pastor in the Delaware Gazette. I hope I'm getting Adam's name right. It's Pastor Adam Samkai. My apologies, Adam, if I'm getting your name wrong. But I think Pastor Adam really beautifully captures the essence of what makes pastoral ministry so special. He talks about the joy of journeying alongside people, of sharing in their sorrows and in their celebrations. And he describes what he calls the unimaginable opportunity to remind people of God's goodness and God's offer of hope and joy. And when you put it in that perspective, what better job is there in the whole world? You know what? I think he's absolutely right. It's the best job in the whole world. We get to witness, get this. We think about it. I know it's the purpose of today's podcast is to get you out of a rut if you're feeling like, man, this job is it's a job and it's a slog. But just think about it. We get to witness lives transformed by the power of the gospel on a regular basis. We get a front row seat for that. And we get to be instruments of God's grace and love, and we get to point people to the source of true healing and true hope. So Todd, how can I rediscover this kind of joy of ministry when I'm up against a wall, when I've just got these challenges and demands and everybody's just coming at me? I've got some suggestions here for you. And first of all, and this I think is really important, just to stop. And that's what we tell people at Chemistry Staffing all the time when they've lost their job or when something happens in ministry that they're reeling. And the first thing we tell them is just stop and take some time to breathe. Take some time to reflect. And here's what I want you to reflect on. Today, if you're having a bad time right now, maybe stop the podcast, just stop and breathe. And here's what I want you to do. Remember your calling. Take time to reflect on why you entered ministry in the first place. Many of us have, sometimes you're called over time. Other times, man, it was a dramatic calling. And maybe you just need time to go back and remember that and reconnect with that passion that you felt, that passion that really first ignited your heart. Go back and first just to remember your calling. And secondly, prioritize your relationship with God. Sometimes when we're going through a hard time, that's the hardest time for us to be spiritually prepared. Spend some time in prayer. Spend some time in the Word. Seek guidance and strength. And if you're running with your cup empty, allow Him to fill your cup up, because you can't pour into others when you're empty yourself. So remember your calling and then prioritize your relationship. And thirdly, just take care of yourself. Ministry can absolutely be draining. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually. Make sure you're getting enough rest. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating healthy? Are you just eating crap food all the time? Are you taking care of your body and exercising? Are you taking time off? Are you pursuing any kind of hobbies? I don't know how many pastors I have that have no hobbies whatsoever because the church is their life. You need to have some hobbies and you need to take care of yourself. All right, let's see, a couple more, okay? Don't do this alone. Cultivate some meaningful relationships. It could be with other pastors and ministry leaders, but find some people that you can be vulnerable with. Share your struggles and share your joys and support and encourage one another. And then lastly, and I know I mention this quite often, but man, it needs to be repeated because we don't do this enough. Celebrate victories. Celebrate even small victories. Ministry is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And we need to take time to acknowledge and celebrate the progress that we're making, even if it seems small. And I bet even if you pause this podcast right now and just take a couple minutes to think, where is God at work in my church? Where is God at work in me? What small life changes have I seen recently in individuals? I bet you're going to find something because God is at work. I'm convinced He's at work in your life and in your ministry and in your church. All right, so here's the bottom line for today. Obviously, ministry, it's challenging, but it's also incredibly rewarding. So let's remember the joy and the privilege that we have of serving God and His people. And think about it. We get to do this, and most of us also get a paycheck. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to get paid for what you love doing and what God has called you to do. And as always, man, if you're feeling burned out or discouraged, please reach out. I'd love to offer some support and encouragement, maybe some ongoing coaching, if that would be helpful to you. You can always reach out to me anytime. Just contact me, podcast@chemistrystaffing.com, podcast@chemistrystaffing.com. Okay, until tomorrow, hope you have a great day in ministry. Think about these things and do something today. Just take some time to stop and breathe and rediscover that joy that you once had in ministry.